Hello, and welcome to Health and Fitness Redefined. I'm your host, Anthony Amen. Join me today as we take a dive into the world of health and fitness, where we learn how to overcome adversity to pick fact versus fiction and see health and fitness in a whole new light. Today, we're going deep under, and you'll figure out what that means later in the show. But without further ado, let me welcome Catharine Arnston here to talk.
Catharine Arnston.
See, all about algae. And a lot of people are probably going ill. But I think you have a lot of informative topics about this, and I really want to learn more about your company, what you're doing, what your mission is with this. So let's just go back and tell us a little bit about why you started looking at algae and where.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of a unusual specialty, and I want to assure people that it's not pond scum, and it's not that stuff that is messing up your day at the beach. Algae, as you're going to find today, is the most nutrient-dense food in the world, and could possibly change your life, your health, your fitness, in ways that you never imagined. And it's also going to change the world. But yeah, I was not planning to have a career in algae. I'm Canadian by birth. I've lived in Boston 33 years, but I have an MBA and was doing international business. And then out of the blue, my younger sister in Canada developed breast cancer. She's fine now. I just want to assure everybody. But this was 13 years ago, and her oncologist at the time, which was is a cancer specialist, recommended as she prepared for chemo that she change her diet to an alkaline diet. Now, they didn't tell her what an alkaline diet was or why it was good for her. So her first call was to me, her big sister, who loves her. And I'm a very good researcher. And I said, I have no idea what this alkaline diet stuff is, but I will find out. And I did. It turned out to be mostly a plant-based diet because of the phytonutrients and the chlorophyll that have been proven by science for decades to build your immune system. So she went through her chemo. She completely healed. I helped her find all the foods to eat. And she is cancer-free, has been cancer-free for 11 years. Now, in the process of helping her, I started reading about plant-based nutrition. Now, you have to remember this was 13 years ago, and nobody was talking about plant-based nutrition like they are now. So as I read, I think I read like 12 books, and I read like 200 or 300 scientific papers on it. I thought, man, this is pretty powerful stuff. Somebody should tell the rest of America. So I gave up my corporate career, went back to school, studied nutrition. Then I taught plant-based nutrition and found out that everybody knows they should eat more vegetables, but I learned that it was too difficult. They're heavy to carry home from the grocery store. They take a long time to clean, to cook, to eat. And let's face it, kids and guys in particular are not big fans of vegetables. And French fries
I personally
don't
like
count.
my veggies.
You what?
I said I personally like my veggies.
Yeah,
totally
well, we're proud. I'm so delighted to hear that, but not everybody's you. So when I saw how difficult it was for people to get the plant-based nutrition that they needed, I thought, okay, back to the drawing board. I got to find something that's easy, fast, and nutrient dense, and gives them all the benefits of plants and greens and veggies without having to eat them. You think, oh, that's impossible, but guess what? I found the answer. And it was one of the things I found for my sister, algae. Turns out algae is the most alkaline food in the world, which got me started on this. It's the most nutrient-dense food in the world. It's been endorsed by NASA for over 50 years. In fact, they feed it to the astronauts because it has 1,000 times more nutrients than any other fruits or vegetables. They say 1 gram of algae has the same nutrition as 1,000 grams of vegetables. 1 to 1,000. That's a big number. It's also endorsed by the United Nations as the answer to world hunger because it has 3 times the amount of protein as anything else, 3 times more than steak. That's a big number. It's also been used for 75 years in Asia, where it's a multi-billion-dollar agricultural crop. That's a big number. And by the way, algae is an agricultural crop. It is not a supplement. I'm going to show a picture that you can also go online to show people that algae is no different than kale or broccoli. It is a type of vegetable that we grow in fresh water. Yes, algae does exist in the ocean, but the algae that we sell and that you see anywhere from Target to Whole Foods is grown in fresh water. It is not a supplement. So because it's been used for 75 years safely, as where they use it in Japan, they don't leave their house without chlorella. We're going to talk about spirulina and chlorella today. It's been used safely for 75 years. Actually, it's been used for almost 2,000 years. It's endorsed by all the big international agencies from United Nations to NASA, and it is the most nutrient-dense food in the world, and nobody in America knew about it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to spend the rest of my life helping people learn about algae, because if you give your body the nutrients it needs, it will perform for you. You will not get any of these chronic illnesses. You will have more energy for your workout. You'll recover faster because your muscles won't be sore. You'll never get sick. Your immune system will be strong. I mean, this stuff does it all. Someone said, you should call it the miracle food, but we call them bits because they're bits of nutrition. Algae tablets, we sell the algae in tiny tablets that you can swallow, chew, or add to a smoothie. But we call them bits because they're bits of food.
Well, let's go back, because that was a lot of information, and I kind of just want to break everything down. So this actually all started with your sister.
Yes.
So the cause was she needed to eat more of an alkaline diet to really get a little more plant-based veggies in it. Take us through what exactly an alkaline diet is, because I think people, like you said, hear it and they hear plant-based, but what exactly are alkaline and alkaline-based foods?
Well, there's a lot of research about alkaline, the importance of having your cellular structure and your blood alkaline or at the proper pH. And the first thing I'll tell you is that back in the 40s, a scientist by the name of Otto Warburg won a Nobel Prize for discovering that cancer, and in fact, since then they've found out all disease, cancer can only exist in an acidic environment. This is at the cellular level. So the key to maintaining your health all starts at the cellular level. It's the cells, the mitochondria that are in the cells. They're called organelles that generate all the energy and keep your body humming and keep your limbs moving. So it's your cells, the mitochondria in the cells, and the cell walls. They all need to be healthy. And if they aren't healthy, that's when you get sick. And healthy includes having the proper pH. I don't know what the exact pH level is. The range is from 0 to 14, but it needs to be at least erring on the alkaline condition. Because if it gets too acidic, then disease what happens is bacteria starts gathering, toxins cannot be removed, nutrients cannot enter, and it causes less oxygen to be available in the cell. And that's how you get sick. So the proper alkaline is the key to all of this, because when it's alkaline, it's also oxygenated, and oxygen is critical for all of your cellular metabolism, your organs, everything to work. So that's number one, is at the cellular level, your cells need to have an environment that is not acidic. And the way and it's related to also to your blood. So your blood needs to be the 7.34 is the pH level of your blood to be healthy. Again, the range is from 0 to 14, and so 7.34 is pretty much right down in the middle. Now, what happens is if you eat too much acidic food, like processed food or sugar or dairy, or even animal protein, it changes the pH level of your blood, because those are acidic. And so when your body is so intelligent that it knows that you would die if your blood was too acidic. So what it does is it pulls minerals from your bones and from your organs and from your cellular tissue into the blood to neutralize that acidity. But if that happens over and over and over again, that wears down your immune system and causes you to have a weakened immune system, which leads to all sorts of other illnesses. And my sister's oncologist was aware of this, and that's why she wanted her to have an alkaline diet so that she would not have her immune system being challenged. So this is why an alkaline diet, which turns out to be predominantly a plant-based diet, is so beneficial, and why algae, which is the most alkaline food in the world, is the easiest way to restore the neutral pH to your blood. It's pretty powerful stuff. It's all documented in science and it has been for almost 100 years. Just hasn't gotten out to the public.
I agree. But one thing I found curious that you were mentioning was it grows in fresh water, unlike that algae grown in salt water. What's the reasoning behind that? What's the
Yeah.
difference?
Well, first of all, let me just back up a little bit. So, algae is its own food category. It's not a fruit and it's actually not a plant. Algae was the first life on Earth almost 4 billion years ago, and it's still here. And they've got fossils to prove that it was the first life. And spirulina was the first algae. So, number one, first life on Earth. There's got to be something special about that. Number two, algae releases oxygen as it's growing. It is responsible for 80% of the oxygen on Earth. And 4 billion years ago, when it started growing, after about 1 billion years, there was enough oxygen on Earth so other life forms could grow. And that ultimately led to life on Earth as we know it. Now, the reason I mention that is because algae is everywhere. It's in the oceans, the lakes, the rivers, the streams, soils. It's in your swimming pool, your aquarium. It's everywhere. And there's two main types of algae. One is called macroalgae, which is also known as kelp or seaweed. It's that stringy stuff that washes up on shore, right? Very high in fiber, but virtually no nutrition, but lots of fiber and iodine because it comes from the ocean. The other type of algae is what we're talking about, and that's called microalgae because it's microscopic in size. Something like 1 million microcells of algae could fit on the head of a pin. That's how small it is, and it's
Wow.
everywhere. And there are tens of thousands of strains of algae. It's what feeds the fish. It's what feeds the whales. What keeps our soils so healthy. So it's everywhere. And there's two main types of microalgae. One is called blue-green algae, and the other one is green algae. So if you ever read about a algae bloom, blue-green algae, on the sea interrupting or causing problems, sure, it's a blue-green algae. One type of blue-green algae is spirulina, and one type of green algae is chlorella. There's thousands and thousands of them, but these are the two that are harvested as food crops. There's thousands of other types of blue, green, and green algae, but the two that are harvested, like kale or broccoli or tomatoes, and are grown in fresh water are the two we're going to talk about today, spirulina and chlorella. And the reason why they're grown in fresh water is because algae will absorb whatever's in the water. And if you are going to grow something for mass consumption, there's no control when you have it from the ocean. I mean, we all know how toxic the oceans are. If you haven't watched the Netflix movie Seaspiracy, that's Seaspiracy, I encourage you to watch it. And it will show you in great depth about how the commercial fishing industry is destroying the oceans. And that's in the movie. They even say the answer is to eat algae. And I agree because algae is a crop. So if you want something that's safe and monitored carefully, at least ours is, you want it to be grown in fresh water. So 99.99999% of spirulina, which is a blue-green algae, and chlorella, which is a green algae, which are the two we're talking about today, are grown in fresh water like vegetables are. But it's not technically a vegetable.
Well, let's talk about that. And I want to start with the one I'm a little more familiar with, which is spirulina. Spirulina is something that, for those that may or may not know me, I suffer really badly from allergies. So I've always tried to figure out something that could help take the edge off. And digging through some research, it was showing that spirulina in quantities can help with some antihistamine reactions. So
Yes.
I started taking some spirulina. It is a tough taste to eat. I will be totally transparent.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it definitely helps.
Yeah.
And when I can get over the bitter taste and the stains it leaves on everything, it's something I can definitely.
Yeah. Well, we can help you with that because our spirulina, all of our products are in tiny little tablets. You just swallow them. No taste. It's not like fish oil where you get burps afterwards. If you swallow these, you're good. No taste, no aftertaste, zero. Absolutely zero. And if you want nutrient density and you don't have time to cook or don't like vegetables, this is effortless. If you can swallow, you can nourish your body. You can outperform your friends at workouts. You can outperform your friends at work. It's unbelievable what this stuff does. And it's effortless. Like I said, when I taught people the importance of plants and found out that vegetables were too much work for them, I found algae, and it's the answer. And I'm going to show you, these are, if you're watching the video, you'll see that I'm holding up 2 containers of tablets. One is much greener than the other one. And that the green one is chlorella, which is a green algae. And the other one, which is more of a dark blue-green, that's spirulina. But you can see that they are different colors. And you can see how tiny they are. They're the size of a baby aspirin. So, we recommend people, if you're just getting started, take 2 or 3 tablets, just swallow them down. They're so tiny, you won't even notice them. And spirulina, since we're going to talk about spirulina first, is the most highest concentration of protein in the world, and all the proteins already in amino acids. Now, the reason why that's important is that your body does not have to exert any effort at all to get access to the aminos, because they're already individual aminos. And it's a complete protein. A lot of people are taking collagen for their protein and for their joints or the skin, but collagen is not a complete protein, does not have tryptophan. Spirulina does. And when you eat animal protein, it can take up to 3 days for your body to break it down to get access to those aminos. So when you take spirulina, it's like a get out of jail card. Your body doesn't have to do anything. It's like you can almost just hear the whooshing sound as your body is gratefully absorbing all this fabulous protein. But not only, sorry,
the complete protein part, we did a whole episode on what's important, what are the BCAAs, what are the non-essential, essential amino acids. So it is good to note that very, very, very few things are actually complete proteins that aren't plant-based. They're animal-based, sorry. All your animal-based stuff will be a complete protein, but your plant-based stuff usually has to come with balancing. So rice and beans is a great example of 2 things you have to add together to become a complete protein. And they're saying spirulina is actually a complete protein, which is pretty cool. It gets rid of that, okay, I need to eat this and then this and then this to make sure I balance out all my aminos. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, both of them, both chlorella and spirulina, are complete proteins, and we're just finishing some charts to show all the different aminos and what the proportions are and how they compare to collagen. And if you're taking collagen, algae blows collagen out of the water on a per amino basis. It's got anywhere from 100% to 400% more aminos than collagen. Plus, it has chlorophyll and 40 other vitamins and minerals. Plus, it's eco-friendly and sustainable, which collagen is not. But anyways, back to spirulina. Yes, high protein, an essential protein, all the essential aminos rather. And spirulina is technically a bacteria. Why is that important? It does not have a cellulose wall. It is a single cell organism. It is a bacteria. That's why it's called a cyanobacteria. Why is that important? Because again, it gets into your bloodstream instantly, because there's nothing for your body to break down. That's why when we first started, bloggers started reviewing us, and we got known by the running community, which led to the cycling community, which led to the triathlon community, which led to the Olympic community. And they loved it because the spirulina gives them energy and focus and does not upset their stomach like gels and bars and drinks, which are carb and sugar based. There are no carbs, by the way, in either spirulina or chlorella. So it's ketogenic and vegan. So you can take it when you're intermittent fasting. It does not decrease your ketones or increase your glucose. And it gives you steady energy, not any kind of rush or crash like you would get from sugar or carbs. And it also is loaded with B vitamins. B vitamins are what convert glucose or the aminos into energy. It also has a very high amount of essential fatty acids, including omega-3, which helps you with your focus. It releases nitric oxide, which is known as a vasodilator, which means it opens up your blood vessels so your blood can flow faster and bring more oxygen and nutrition to your muscles and to your brain. It has boron, which helps with the synapse and coordination. So all in all, algae, spirulina algae is known as an energizing algae. Now, it's not like lightning bolts from the sky. The best way we describe it is you'll just feel fresh. That's it. You'll just feel fresh and alert and ready for the day. So we thought spirulina might be hard for people to remember what it means and what it does. So we called our spirulina EnergyBits. Now, we actually I found out that after a couple of years, women weren't buying the EnergyBits, and I started this company because of my sister. So I found out, my girlfriend said, well, you gotta give it a cute name and make it pink. And because there's so much protein and amino acids in antioxidants in the spirulina, which helps with your skin and your hair. So I made a second version of spirulina and called it Beauty Bits, but they are absolutely identical. But so someone said, oh, you got a boy spirulina and a girl spirulina. Pretty much. They're absolutely identical, but people just gravitate towards one color or another. And I just wanted people to be comfortable with the, taking it, because once it gets into your body, it knows what to do. And it can be a meal replacement. It can up level your running, your fitness, your weight training. We had so many Olympic teams loving and using our products a number of years ago. I sent 2 of my team members over to the Winter Olympics in Sochi in Russia. And we had complete invitation to the entire U.S. Olympic Village and the Canadian Olympic Village because they loved the product so much. So that was pretty cool. And we fuel awesome. NHL, we have 5 NHL teams that use it. The NHL teams put 75 tablets in their smoothie before a game and of spirulina. And then they put 75 tablets of chlorella in their smoothie after the game. And I'll talk to you why they use the chlorella after the game. But I only mention that because I know your community is very big on fitness, and this is very much a fitness performance-driven kind of product, in addition to everything else.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's intriguing. And I know it's also very high in vitamin A.
Yes.
Which, in course, will help your skin, which will help your night vision, not your regular vision, people. Stop making that mistake. It's not going to help you see all of a sudden. But it does have some benefits that way. I love the fiber thing. I love the protein thing. It's something we've talked about multiple times in the show and the benefits of those. And the only question I really have that kind of is like, well, why? What's the difference between taking something as a pill, kind of like give it compressed, as opposed to just a powder?
Yeah. Well, and I want to talk about chlorella too, but I'll answer that question first. So let's face it, powder is messy, very difficult to travel with. If your lid pops off your container, you got green mess everywhere. It's just inconvenient. And there is no way to disguise the flavor. As you pointed out, spirulina is not a flavor most people like. It's very earthy and it's very chewy. Now, you can chew the tablets. You can put them in a smoothie if you want. But if you don't like the flavor and you don't want to put it into a smoothie, just swallow them and you taste nothing. You can't do that with a powder. And in fact, when we grow our algae in Taiwan, and we're world renowned for having the highest quality because it's the highest strains of algae, and we don't use heat to dry it, which preserves all the enzymes. But so what we dry it first into a powder, and then we press it into the tablet form. So it starts as a powder. But as a small company, I had to make some choices about what we wanted to make available to people. And because in America, and let's face it, the rest of the world, but certainly in America, convenience is number one. People want things that are convenient, and mixing up something messy that you don't like the flavor of is not conducive to encouraging rapid adoption. I want people to start taking this so they will stop getting sick, because this fills all of your nutrient gaps. This can replace virtually all of your other supplements, your multivitamin, your spirulina, CoQ10. It can replace fish oil. I remind people, where do you think the fish get the omega-3 from? Yes, they get it from algae. So, and most fish oil is rancid by the time you buy it. So save the oceans and save yourself the inflammation that you would get from rancid fish oil, and just get it from the algae, which is the original source of the omega-3 anyways. So it's just a really, I call it efficient nutrition, because it gives you everything that your body needs and none of the toxins that it doesn't want.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And then we can move on to chlorella and talk a
Yeah.
little bit about it. It's something that this is kind of new. I'm a big believer, though, in following up on studies and kind of diving into it. And so you actually had a lot on your website, and I
Yeah. Yeah.
really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It kind of breaks down exactly what the benefits are, what is chlorella. And so just kind of walk us through the different nutrition facts of it. I mean, it seems like it's very high in, again, vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin D.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting because those are
Yeah.
things you mostly find in veggies.
Yeah.
So I love that. So just talk to us a little more about
Yeah.
chlorella and the benefits of it.
Yeah. Well, chlorella and spirulina as are different from one another as night is from day. They do completely different things in your body. They may have some of the similar nutrients, but they act completely differently. So spirulina, as I mentioned, if you recall, is high protein, gives you energy. So most people take it in the morning, in the afternoon, before a workout, as a snack for intermittent fasting. Anytime you're tired or hungry. So it's very much, as I said, an energizing and nourishing algae. Chlorella is completely different. It will never give you energy. It will never satisfy your hunger. And what it does is it's a wellness algae. It's a health and wellness algae. Spirulina is an energizing and nourishing algae. So why is it a wellness algae? Well, remember I said spirulina has the highest protein in the world. Chlorella has the highest chlorophyll in the world. Chlorophyll is the pigment that makes plants green. And what I'm going to show you is, and you may say to yourself, well, what's so important about chlorophyll? I'm going to tell you a few things. I'm going to show a picture of the chemical composition of your blood and of chlorophyll. And those who are watching on video, and you can just Google this online if you want, you'll see that they're virtually identical. The only thing that's different between your hemoglobin and chlorophyll is that in your hemoglobin, there is an iron atom in the middle, and that's what carries oxygen in your blood. And in chlorophyll, it's magnesium. Otherwise, they are identical. So why is this so important? Because chlorophyll builds your blood. It is virtually identical to your blood. And in fact, if you put chlorophyll under a red light, it's red. It's only green to us because of the way that the light reflects the color. But it's so that's why, again, when we talked about the alkaline diet and it was plant-based, the chlorophyll in plants and vegetables help build your blood. And chlorophyll's been used for centuries for this purpose. Even as recently as World War II, they would give the injured liquid chlorophyll to build their blood because they would heal just as fast as if they'd had a blood transfusion. Now, right now, there's a lot of interest in chlorophyll, but I like to point out that chlorella algae has the highest amount of chlorophyll in the universe. It has 500 times more chlorophyll than arugula. It even has 25 times more chlorophyll than liquid chlorophyll, because liquid chlorophyll is generally made from alfalfa sprouts. So if chlorophyll is your end game, chlorella algae is the solution. There's nowhere else in the world, in the universe, that has more chlorophyll than chlorella algae. Now, the other interesting thing about what chlorophyll does is it heals your cell walls. Remember I mentioned about how all of your health issues start at the cellular level? Well, part of the health issue is because maybe your cell walls aren't very permeable, and you need healthy fats to make them permeable. And if they're not permeable, nutrients can't get in and toxins cannot get out. So the best analogy I give people is, when your windows are dirty, sunlight can't get in and you can't see out. And that's not very good either. Because chlorophyll, is a fat-based pigment, it heals the cell walls. And I'm going to show you a picture again. Here's I'm showing a picture of spirulina in a dish with some water, and you'll see a beautiful blue color dispersed evenly through the water. That blue is the blue pigment called phycocyanin, because spirulina has the two pigments, but chlorella has just chlorophyll. And in the picture I'm showing you, it doesn't disperse. It's all clumped. I did this experiment 10 or 20 times till I finally came to the realization, which was then confirmed by science, chlorophyll is a fat-based pigment. That's why it does not disperse like the other pigment. And that's why it heals your cell walls. I'm sure we all have friends who are saying they're doing a cleansing and they're doing juicing. Well, part of what's cleansing and juicing is because of the green chlorophyll that is healing your cell walls. And as long as you have permeable cell walls, it's easier for toxins to get out and nutrients can get in. And you want that to be happening, because if toxins cannot get out, the cells become acidic, they lose their oxygen, the mitochondria get damaged, you stop having energy, you start getting sick. So chlorophyll helps prevent all of that. Number 3 is chlorophyll is just very cleansing to your bowels, to your gut. And also chlorella has fiber in it. Remember I said spirulina is not a plant. It does not have a cellulose wall, so it does not have fiber. Chlorella does have fiber. In fact, it has the hardest cell wall in the plant kingdom. And the important thing about that is that the hard cell wall attaches to toxins. It has been used as a chelator, chlorella, for decades, 50, 60 years. They use it to pull out lead, mercury, radiation. You'll be amused to find out that it also pulls out alcohol. It pulls out lactic acid. That's why the athletes, like the NHL teams, use the chlorella after a game to pull out the lactic acid. So because of the high chlorophyll, because of its ability to pull out toxins, because it has fiber that feeds your gut biome, and it has other nutrients like K2, which we can talk about the benefits of that. Chlorella is a healing algae. It's a health and wellness algae. It helps you recover from anything, help you recover from your day, help you recover from sports, helps you recover from drinking, help you recover from just any kind of toxicity. So we call our chlorella recovery bits because we thought that was a lot easier to remember and to say. So that's why they're so different from the spirulina. Most people take the spirulina in the morning, and we recommend you take the chlorella at night for 2 reasons. Because by then you've maybe worked out, maybe you've had a few cocktails, maybe you've been exposed to other toxins. And when you sleep, your body goes through a repair and sleep cycle, or cleanse cycle. When you're sleeping, it's like having the cleanup crew coming in while you're sleeping. That's pretty sweet, huh? So if you have chlorella in your body while you are sleeping, you're going to get a much better detox. You'll get a much faster repair. It also stimulates peristalsis, also known as bowel movement. So it prepares you for a great, satisfying trip to the bathroom the next morning. It has the highest amount of tryptophan in the world, which is a precursor to melatonin, which helps you sleep. It won't put you to sleep. It'll just make your sleep much better and deeper. So that's why we suggest you take it at night. You can take it any time of day, but definitely take it at night. Spirulina in the morning, afternoon, and the chlorella at night. And the 2 of them, as you can see, work harmoniously together. One gives you energy and nourishes you, and the other one pulls out toxins, builds your immune system, cleans out your blood, and helps you recover from any illness and pulls out toxins. So it's quite a combination.
It's very interesting, and there's just something kind of going through my mind right now. Is there recommendations for minimums and maximums? Like, could there be too much or too little, where it kind of plays in a role that way?
There aren't any maximums. And as an example, I have taken at least 100 tablets of chlorella every day for the last 11 years. And I turned 65 this weekend.
Awesome. Congratulations.
65, right? And I have great energy, great mental acuity, great sleep, great energy, great skin. And I attribute it, a large part of it, to taking so much algae. But for most people, because I don't have to pay for mine, most people, we do recommend, if you can, 5 or 10 tablets a day. If you want to start with 2 or 3, that's fine. You'll still gain benefits. Now, each tablet, remember I said NASA said the algae has 1,000 times more nutrients than what's 1,000 times more nutrient dense than any other fruit or vegetable. So I did the math and realized that every single one of these tablets, these tiny little baby tablets the size of a baby aspirin, has the same nutrition as an entire plate of vegetables that you didn't have to cook, clean, or eat, right? So I just had a plate of vegetables. So it's really up to you. Algae is food, remember? It's not a supplement. So if you want to take just 1 a day, you're not going to see a huge difference, but it's certainly a mild an improvement. It will replace other supplements. But start at least with 2 or 3. I think 5 or 10 is a better number to aim for, but you don't have to. And you can go up as high as you want because it's food. Remember, I mentioned the NHL players, they put 75 spirulina in their smoothie before a game and 75 chlorella in their smoothie after a game. Now, they're elite athletes and they need very high intense amounts of energy to get them on that ice, and they need to get rid of all that lactic acid. So they're like super users. So for your average person, 5 or 10 tablets is fine. Now, I will make the caveat, however, with chlorella, it has so much chlorophyll and pulls out toxins. 5 or 10 will build your immune system. If you want the detox benefits, you need closer to 20 or more because it won't pull out the toxins. It will still build your immune system and do lots of cleansing, but it won't have enough juice to pull the toxins all the way out. So a lot of people, they might do 5 or 10 of the chlorella tablets, the recovery bits, for a couple of weeks, and then maybe they'll do a couple of weeks of detox, and then they'll go back to a couple of weeks, just 5 or 10, and then they'll do a couple of weeks of detox. Gotcha. So it's really up to you. But what I want to mention is that we're aware that there's so many toxins in our environment. It's the pesticides, it's the glyphosate, it's the pollution, it's the fumes from your clothing, from your carpeting. It's from everywhere. And those are from all toxins outside of us. But what I want people to realize, and I didn't even know this myself, but every day in our bodies, 30 trillion cells die. That's a big number. 30 trillion cells die every single day. Now, dead cells are toxic. And if your body can't clear them out, they cluster in your lymph glands, they gather in your cells, and that causes the cells to become acidic, less oxygenated, and it contributes to disease. So even though you may say, well, I'm going to do a detox once a year, that's just not enough. Even once a month is not enough. You need to be pulling out the toxins literally every day. And the easiest way to do it is with chlorella algae, because I remind people, we take a shower every day on the outside. Well, when you take chlorella algae every day, it's like giving your body a shower on the inside, and it's very protective and it's very easy. It's effortless. If you can swallow water, you can be doing a detox at the same time.
I think this all was very intriguing, kind of hearing a different standpoint, because it's not something you talk about every day, just to be honest. But I love how we bounced around both the benefits of spirulina, chlorella, and really got a better understanding of the different algae. So just real quick, if you had to summarize everything that we spoke about here and put it together, what's the take-home message you want to leave with our audience about the benefits of algae?
Yeah. Well, they're effortless nutrition, number one. They replace just about everything else, whether it's a supplement, fish oil, collagen. So they save you money and save you time. They are easy to transport because they're tiny little tablets that never go bad and never make a mess in your gym bag or handbag. They're safe for every age group, from newborns to teenagers to grandparents and even pets. They are quite simply the safest and easiest way to up-level your health, your performance, your brain, your gut, your immune system, which we all need right now. Effortless. The most effortless way to do that. All you have to do is swallow a few every day, and your health will improve. It's irrefutable. I forgot to mention, there's 100,000 studies documenting all the benefits I talked about today, plus many, many more. So it's all science-based. I don't say anything that we don't have science for. And the reason why I'm proud to be doing this is that we also, our company offers the safest, purest, third-party tested, doctor-endorsed algae. You can go to Target and buy cheaper algae for sure, but I can promise you that it won't be as safe and pure, and you'll need more of it, and you don't know what else is in it. And we're documented, so we can show you that there's nothing else in our algae except algae, and that it's so clean and pure that it's sold nationwide by doctors. And there are no other algae companies that do that. So
I
So yeah.
appreciate that. And last question I ask everybody is, where can people find you, get a hold of you? Where can they find out more and learn a little bit more about EnergyBits?
Yeah. Well, our main website is energybits.com, ENERGY, B for boy, I, T for Tom, S for Sam. And again, it's Energy Bits because they're bits of food. And we have a 20% discount code to share with you if you make for any purchase you make on our website. The code is redefined, all one word. Now, I don't want people to have sticker shock when they come to our website because each bag has 1,000 tablets in it. Normally, a bag is $120, but with the discount code, it brings it down to $96. And I know that's still a large amount of money. So this is what I want to share with you. I took that quote from NASA that said 1 gram of algae has the same nutrition as 1,000 grams of fruits and vegetables. So based on the weight of our bag, 1 bag of our algae tablets has the equivalent nutrition of 551 pounds of vegetables. Now, that's 551 pounds of vegetables you didn't have to carry home or cook or clean or eat, right? So there you've already saved yourself a lot of effort. But at $3 a pound, if it's organic, 551 pounds would have cost you $1,500. So I want to put it in context because $96 doesn't look so bad when you now compare it to $1,500. So that's number one. But I understand too that might be still a big number for people. So I want to encourage you to go to Amazon and where you can purchase little small pouches. There are travel size pouches with 30 tablets in them. And they're $5 each. So you can buy a couple, try them out for $10. And then when you are ready for a larger bag, because I know you'll be happy with the results, come back to the website and then you can use the discount code redefined and get your 20% off. And if you want, we have lots of information on our website. We are also very active on social media. Our handle is at EnergyBits, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. We're very, very big on the science, helping people understand the benefits for nutrition, for fitness, for performance. So we welcome you to come and visit us, learn more about algae. Algae is going to be the biggest industry of the 21st century. And while it may be new to you, I like to point out to people, algae isn't new. It's just new to you. So I'm here to help you learn about it because it's going to be bigger than CBD or collagen combined. It's a very exciting nutrition.
Definitely something to really look forward to learn more about. I'll have all of that in the show notes for you. And thank you guys for joining us on this week's episode of Health and Fitness Redefined. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button and join us next week as we dive deeper into this ever-changing field. And remember, fitness is a journey, not a destination. Until next time.